'cause it's a super sweet symphony, this life. Learn to make ends meet. You create your own money, then you fly. It takes you down the only road that you can go down. You know, the one that takes you to the places where all of us meet, yeah. Oh, change, I can change, I can change, I can change, 'cause I'm here in my moment, I'm here in my moment. Touch a million different people from one day to the next. I can change my moment, oh, 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 oh. Well, I always pray, and tonight I'm on my knees, yeah. I love to hear some sounds, recognize the light in me, yeah. I let the melody shine, let it cleanse my mind. I feel free now, and the airwaves are clean, and my beloved is singing to me now. Oh, change, I can change, I can change, I can change, 'cause I'm here in my moment, I'm here in my moment. Touch a million different people from one day to the next. I can change my moment, oh, 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 oh. I can change, 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 'cause it's a super sweet symphony, this life. Learn to make ends meet. You create your own money, then you fly. Oh, change, I can change, I can change, I can change, 'cause I'm here in my moment, I'm here in my moment. Touch a million different people from one day to the next. I can change my moment, oh, 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 oh. I can change, 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 I can change. Just love and guidance, melody and silence. 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 Just love and guidance, melody.
Namaste. Welcome to this meditation. Let this time be for yourself. Take these moments to be close and intimate with your divine self. Sit comfortably, or you can relax and lie down. Take a few deep breaths, and as you do that, give yourself all the comfort, the attention the love, the safety you need right now. As you choose to bring your attention to your heart space, make a choice to visit your beautiful self, your being, the being that is one with God, the being that is a reflection of God herself. The divine being that is always loving, that is always aware, that which is ever connected to the divine source, the endless source, the unlimited source. Right now, I choose to meet her, to look into her eyes, to say hello, to touch her hands and come closer to my divine self, the me inside me, the me inside me who I seek to love, nurture, to remain in company with. Around whom the whole world rotates. The me inside me. Now take this moment to communicate with yourself. It could be just a gesture, a feeling in your heart, a smile, an acknowledgement of that recognition, that exchange of energy, of knowing myself for eons, that recognition of my connection with myself. From where everything sprouts. Everything inside me, around me, my relationships, beauty, knowledge, wisdom, grace, everything. Notice the stillness and the silence that she holds. It's precious. Now make a choice to let her be at the forefront of your life. Let it be her life. This life is a gift of God, and she holds that light to the life force. Allow her to live it through you, and choose to surrender all worries and fears, as she knows everything, as she is one with God, one with herself, and complete in her love. Embrace these beautiful moments and let them sink in your heart as a remembrance that you can carry throughout your day. Take a few deep breaths to ground this beautiful feeling. And when you're ready, you may open your eyes. Namaste.
Hello, my name is Tahira, and I feel very honored to do the card reading for today's Sunday service. I've chosen the Sufi Wisdom Oracle. It's from Rasuli. Love this deck very much. And I have already pre-shuffled, and the first card was Ending a Trauma. And it says, transform memories and symptoms. What I feel about this card is coming up now is that we all go through trauma over and over again, layers of trauma. And I really loved Jeff's last Saturday live class. He explained a little bit about trauma and how it is like how our parents carried around trauma, and their parents and their parents and their parents, and ultimately it is separation from God. And it was very beautiful for me to see that we can really be very proud of ourselves when we start to heal, because we all carry a lot of layers of trauma, not only from us, also from the ancestors, and that we can be very proud of ourselves and very compassionate with ourselves. Yeah, that was very touching, and I mean, the good news is that we can heal it, and with MAP, Mind Alignment Process. Yeah, and that's really what I feel is also like collectively that we all went through trauma, and now another cycle is happening from ending and healing. And Jeff explained once that it's really like exhale and inhale cycles of healing. And so that's what I feel, that we just like ended a cycle, and now it's time to, that's the second card, time to play and have fun. And the card says, make time to dance and play. Yeah, I really honor that we heal, and with that appreciation for ourselves, we can start to really enjoy life again. If a cycle is ended, it's always like at the other end of the side, it's very nice, very beautiful, but we have to go through stuff and we have to heal stuff, and sometimes it doesn't feel good. But when we are through, then there's also time to play and to have fun and enjoy life and be alive. And yeah, I always feel very, of course, when I'm in a healing process, it doesn't feel so good because all these feelings are leaving. But at the other side, it's very nice, very peaceful, very joyful. And we can just enjoy it, because the things will come up, and that's okay. And what I feel is really that we always go deeper into love, into self-love, every time we heal, every time we do the mirror exercise, every time we do map, of course. And it's very, very freeing. And that's like the next card is Dawn of Love. Love is rising on the horizon of your life. That's very beautiful. Yeah, so if we feel and we healed another layers and come into more peace and more love, then this will be reflected in the outside. And that's the process. That's the process of healing. And it's very beautiful. Jeff once said, when we are doing one mirror exercise, this is already something for lifetimes. We healed something for lifetimes. Yeah. So what I learned here is really to be very compassionate with myself in these cycles, and to be very also proud of myself, and don't judge myself, and also don't take it so hard, everything. Yeah. So healing is very nice and fun and beautiful. It's very beautiful to discover myself. And when I discover myself more, I discover more God in every area of my life, and that's very, very, very beautiful. It's worth it. Okay, so thank you for watching and enjoy the sermon. Bye.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Sunday service. I'm Noreen, and I'm very happy to introduce to you today's sermon, which is The Foundation for a Stable Life by Carmel. So I'm going to share with you my thoughts about the sermon and what I took, the insights I noticed while watching. I really loved that she sectioned the sermon in kind of three parts, beginning with explaining what is the process to having a stable life and what is a stable life. And so she states that a stable life is a life with God, building heaven on earth and building a life of love and peace. And this life, you cannot cut corners while building your life, your perfect life of love with God. Having a foundation for a stable life is like following the steps of the twin flame journey, basically, because it's a process. And Kamal says it beautifully, everything in life is a process. And you cannot accelerate this process. It cannot pass quicker than it needs to, and you need to do it with God step by step. And so, what I really took from that part of the sermon is that no matter how much you think you failed, you will always have opportunities to build your perfect life. And that's the beautiful thing with God. She shares about a few of her experiences on her ascension path, um, such as moving to another city while she was 18, far away from her family, um, and also being a map practitioner for a time. And I can really relate to what she experienced. And she said that because she was not completely ready and she did not have a complete foundation to experience these things, God really humbled her and she went back to the basics and learned her process all over again. And that's okay. That's God will always have the perfect lessons for you. And she takes these experiences as her perfect lessons. And that's how life works. Um, it's trial and error. It's about doing the things that you are called to do and listening to God and being compassionate with yourself about where you are in life and how much of a foundation you already have. And I think this is really timely and important to remember right now because as people have been moving, and I know I've been moving through challenging times and really hard times where I felt like all I was doing was failing. All I was doing was experiencing the contrary of success. I know deep in my heart and I can see in my life that the joy of having learned the lesson and how I was actually improving, how I was actually um, raising my vibration through completing all the lessons that God had for me. So yeah, it's really important that you talked about that, about really grounding your life in peace, honoring the process of the building bricks of your life, and honoring that you cannot do it alone and that you're not meant to do it alone. God is with you, and especially God is with you through the teachings of unionism and the teachings of Jeff and Shaleia. And with that, you can never fail. And you can take as much time as you desire to complete all these lessons. It doesn't matter. What matters is the choices and steps that you make to move forward and to move forward God, to move forward um, to heaven on earth. And so the second thing that she mentioned to have a stable life is relationships and honoring your relationships and your energy. This one is really important. I think the main thing that we learn on the Ascension journey and the Twin Flame journey is choosing the relationship and choosing the way to honor our energy through other people. And sometimes choosing to love ourselves more by cutting off relationships that are not loving. And all of us have gone through this thing at least once. And I think it's really important to remember that our energy is important, and being with people that are not honoring that, are not choosing love, and in the end are not choosing to heal, will be exhausting for us and will dishonor our energy. And in the end, we will dishonor ourselves because we have not respected the energy that God has provided for us. And so it's really okay to figure out the relationships in your life that are supportive and the relationships that are not. And once you're clear about that, you can move forward and you can choose where you allow that energy to go. And so the last thing that she mentioned to have a foundation for a stable life is actually life purpose. And so honoring where God calls us, honoring where He wants us to give something, where He wants us to give to build our heaven on earth. And she invites us to, I guess, analyze where we are being called at this time to give and to build our life purpose. Is it through Ascension coaching? Is it through volunteering? Is it through going to school? Is it through being a mother or a father, giving that love to a child? Whatever God is calling you to do, and whatever God is calling you to do, it is okay to respect that call and honor it, and knowing that God knows you and God has the keys to your perfect life. God knows so much more than you do and has 1,000 steps ahead of us. And He knows your divine self so deeply that honoring your life purpose is the way to fulfill yourself and build a life of love for yourself. And that's what I took out of this sermon. And without further ado, let's hear Carmel's on the foundation of a stable life.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Church of Union Sunday service. My name is Carmel, and I am your Minister of Union for today. Let us begin with our 3 opening ohms, followed by our opening prayer. I invite you to take a deep breath in and follow us out loud or mentally. Followed by our opening prayer. I am the only child of God, forever part of Him. I am created by Him in perfection, and there I always remain. My mind is my sanctuary, where I keep His holy creation sacred. I will only allow in His voice. I will only accept His word. Today I will hear the word of God. I surrender myself to His teachings through His divine channel. I will honor what He has spoken and accept it as His will. I will be obedient to His word, for this is my salvation. In Christ's name, Amen. So today I wanted to share with you about creating a stable life for yourself and the process of creating a stable life for yourself. This stability has been one of the main lessons that I have been learning on my ascension path and my journey back home to God and my harmonious twin flame union. Any instability that you have within yourself will be reflected back to you through your environment, through your relationships, through your career, through your twin flame union. And what I have found when healing this within myself, what is causing that instability is usually and most often coming from a place of control. So when you are trying to perhaps control your life, that it may look a specific way, or control it so that you want it to look shiny on the outside, and you think that that's the way to your peace and your heaven on earth, or perhaps you listen to ego and you're trying to cut corners, or you're motivated or creating your life from a place of fear, like fear-based choices. That's where a lot of instability can occur. So if there's instability within you and you're sincerely seeking harmonious union with God and your twin flame or perfect union, and you're holding instability within yourself, you'll be humbled. You'll always be humbled, and that's something that you can relax into, knowing that you'll always be humbled if you're not heading in the right direction. So one of the main experiences that I've had in my life where this core block of instability was mirrored back to me was during my experience as being a MAP practitioner for mind alignment process. So I have the love in my heart to help people resolve trauma, and being a very driven person, I can make things happen, right? Even when I'm learning how to come into my heaven on earth in a stable way. So being a driven person, sometimes I can push through things so that the foundation I create is unstable, right? So basically, during my experience as a MAP practitioner, as MAP expanded in its ability to heal trauma, I grew in this feeling of anxiety and instability in my heart, right? And it's because a part of me was trying to control my foundation, right? Part of me was trying to do something before I had the foundation always ready to execute that, right? And so because I had controlled my way into areas of my purpose and in my life, it had to be removed so that I could do the process properly and sustainably. right? And so I was compassionately released from my position at MAP, right? And when I was released, I was immediately brought back to the basics. I was brought back to myself. I was brought back to God, opening the doors again for me to walk forth with God and do the process with God and do the process peacefully, in alignment with myself and my highest values, right? So anytime that you try to control your life, your purpose work, your twin flame union, any area of your life, you will be humbled by God. You will be brought back to your roots. You'll be brought back to your basics. And it's a very good thing. It's a very loving thing to happen to you, that you may learn the process again in a stable way, in a loving way, so that you can feel at peace in your dreams, so that you can feel at peace in your desires, so that you can feel at peace in your union or your harmonious union, right? That's all that really matters. You're not actually seeking the position or the thing, you're seeking peace. And so it doesn't matter if you control your way to the thing that you think you want. That's not what you want. What you want is God, and what you want is peace. And so God will show you the process. So you can't do it without God. You can't do anything without God. And another example in my life was right at the beginning of my Ascension journey, where I was living in the Sunshine Coast. I was 18 years old, and I felt it in my heart that I was called by God to move away from my family to Brisbane, which is a city about an hour and a half away, to be a football player and a football coach, because that was where my purpose was calling me at the time. And unfortunately, at the time, I had not cultivated the resources to support that lifestyle. And so my resources drained really quickly, and I was humbled, and I could no longer move forward with that direction. And I had to be again brought back to the Sunshine Coast, brought back to my roots, and be honest with myself. And I could only move forward from where I was at. You're only able to be able to move forward from where you're truly at vibrationally, right? And I believe I was following God, and that through that process, I was called to Brisbane. But God's gift for me was that lesson. And it's like, let's learn this lesson early, because it's a big lesson that you need to learn. And yeah, you can see I'm still learning it. So yeah, God wants you to do it with Him. So in preparing for this sermon on stability, I watched a Life Purpose class by Jeff and Shaleia, Life Purpose Class 61, Mastering Your Life Purpose Creates a Stable Foundation to Build and Rest Upon, is the title. So in this Life Purpose class, Shaleia was moving through some feelings, and they were just about to release their book, Twin Flames, Finding Your Ultimate Lover. And we watched them for perhaps 30 to 40 minutes, working their process to find the stability on the other side of the block, to find the clarity, to find the peace that God had for them on the other side of the block. And Jeff and Shaleia embodied stability through moving through the block itself. They didn't deviate from where God was guiding them in their feelings. It didn't matter how long it took them to get to the clarity they were seeking. They didn't try to cut corners with their feelings. They didn't give up on themselves. They just let themselves follow the low-hanging fruit of their feelings. And of course, on the other side was the peace that they were seeking, right? So this is what Jeff said at the end of them healing the core pit part of that block. And he said, all this time, we only ever wanted a foundation. all this time, we only had to give it. The book is the foundation that we have come to within ourselves. It has manifested as the book. So God was the one who asked Jeff and Shaleia to write that book. God was the one who led Jeff and Shaleia every step of the way of producing that book. Every step of the way was done with God, and God was helping them build their foundation through their purpose work, right? And the foundation that they've cultivated within by following God, that stability that they'd cultivated within by following God, the book was a physical representation of that. And the book, what they realized was the book is a core, is like a core reflection, a core foundation of their body of work. And the book that they've created with God can stand in place of them having to physically be the ones standing there giving the teachings, right? The book could now be that for them and set them free to go deep with God and building their dreams and creating more love and receiving more love, right? And so by following God in your purpose work, by taking every step with God, God's building your stability, God's building your foundation. We all desire foundation in our heart. None of us want instability in our lives. And so, of course, God has the answer. And it's through your purpose work, and it's through following the low-hanging fruit and following the teachings that Jeff and Shaleia share through Life Purpose class. So I wanted to share what I have experienced in creating stability in my life since choosing to follow these teachings and since choosing my perfect union with God and with my twin flame and my ascension journey. So one of the most precious things in your life is your relationships, and God has showed me that your support system and the people that you surround yourself with is very important to how you feel, how you live your life, to your stability, right? So if you're surrounding yourself with, if you're in an environment of toxic relationships, you're going to feel really unstable on the inside, and the only thing that you're only going to be able to really focus on is that instability and that upset until you heal it, right? And so God has shown me that creating a stable life requires you to uproot and release any relationships that you outgrow, any relationships that aren't healthy for your highest good and for your perfect lifestyle, right? And so right from the beginning, a lot of my inner work and a lot of my journey has been pulling apart relationships and getting clear on their intentions, and if they're not loving or choosing to love, and then setting a boundary with them and releasing them to the degree that God asked me to. And since I have been applying that process in my life, the peace in my life and the stability in my life has deepened tremendously. Right? When I was surrounding myself with toxic or controlling or manipulative relationships or people who simply weren't ready to love themselves, I always ended up feeling empty. I was quite anxious and didn't feel supported, and was mainly focused on putting up a wall all the time because that's how I would protect myself. And so if you're having to feed your energy into protecting yourself, then there's probably not healthy relationships that are going to support a stable life for you, right? Since working this process and uprooting those unhealthy relationships that God have shown me are unhealthy, I feel so much more peaceful in my life. I feel so much more peaceful in my home. I feel so much more peaceful and relaxed in my energy that I may actually focus my energy on love and where love's calling me to love. And the relationships in my life, I'm learning to trust them. I'm learning to trust myself in them. I'm feeling a lot safer in them. I'm able to see the truth of them on a deeper level. I'm relaxed into that. And I'm able to identify that what I really love is being with loving people, is being in that community, because that's what feels juicy and alive, right? And so I'm still healing my relationship, but releasing, like cultivating healthy relationships in your life is such a major piece of having a stable life. And God will take you until you've completely uprooted every unhealthy relationship in your life so that you have complete stability in your relationships. And another core area that God has honed is in my purpose work, and humility in my purpose work, right? Radical non-attachment in your life purpose work. So God created you, God created me. God knows your heart's highest desires. God knows the way to your heart's highest desires better than you. And God will show you parts of yourselves that you didn't know were to be used, or God will take your skill sets to the next level. So you want to release if you have a closed mind around your purpose work, or where God's inviting you to give your gift and to love, right? In having radical non-attachment in your purpose work, God's able to love you completely, right? When you're able to release a closed mind into your purpose work and to who you are, and love God where God's calling you to love, God's able to love you back perfectly and completely. And of course, in following God, as Jeff and Shaleia showed us earlier in their life purpose class I mentioned, God shows you the way to your foundation. God shows you the way to your stability through your purpose work, right? It doesn't matter who you were, your core self will never be lost in where God asks you to give your love and to give your gift. So uprooting unhealthy relationships, having radical non-attachment in your life purpose work, and letting God show you who you are, letting God show you what you're capable of, and letting God take you through the lessons that you must learn to become stable within yourself. There's no cutting corners, there's no controlling into your perfect union with your heaven on earth. So yeah, I feel pretty whole and complete in that. And thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Let's finish with our closing prayer, followed by our closing alms. Father, I accept your word into my heart. I will honor your will in my life and will follow you without hesitation any way you ask. I know you guide me into your heart where I belong. I accept that you are everywhere and your teaching is in all things. God, I know you provide me with clarity. I know you provide me clarity in this teaching of union, that I may be forever in union with you. I accept that you are in me as you are in my brother. I will not deny my brother your word, and will share your teaching with him in any way you ask, and only as you ask. For when I share my salvation with him, I fully claim my salvation and return to you with him. In Christ's name, Amen. Speaking this prayer in your heart means you have accepted that you are on the path of awakening to your true divine nature. This is what it means to be a unionist. Follow the teachings of union with God wherever you find them, and purify your consciousness into perfect union with your Creator. And now for our closing alms. take your deep breath in and follow out loud or mentally. Thank you for joining us in this week's Church of Union service, and namaste.
Welcome back. I hope you loved this sermon. I have the thing that touched me very deeply is when Carmel said, you don't want that position truly. What you want is God, and what you want is peace. And so you have to honor the peace that you want, besides the position or the career the status that you desire. Because this is the truth of our life. We only ever want God. And that's the beautiful thing. And so when we realize that, we can start to cultivate a life with God in all ways. And yeah, this was really beautiful and really grounding, and I hoped you liked it. If you want to continue this discussion, please join us right after the Sunday service in our after church tea time, which is live in the Unionism discussion group on Facebook. And if you loved our Sunday service and all of our Sunday services, don't forget to subscribe and maybe think about giving back to the church by donating or volunteering. And we look forward to having you every Sunday, and have a good rest of the day. Bye.